Cabinet of Curiosities has been dropping one surprise after another, and this anthology series, guided by Guillermo del Toro, has impressed the horror fans with some delightfully twisted and scary stories. Lovecraftian horror and sick, demented creatures have been a constant feature of more episodes, and the 5th episode, titled Pickman's Model, is not an exception. This is a story about the glimpse of pure evil captured in the work of an artist. But what happens when the things painted by him turn out to be real? Explore the horrors of this episode in this video as we break down the entire story for you, and also explore some of the terrifying demons and creatures shown here. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request from you. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's a very small click for you, but for us, it means a whole heck of a lot. So, let's get into it.
Dickie, you stop it! What are you doing? Dickie, I swear to God!
Art doesn't always capture the good side of the world. The episode begins in familiar fashion, with Guillermo del Toro being the host, leading us to the haunted premise of the story. Behind everything beautiful lies the dark. Directed by Keith Thomas and based on a story by H.P. Lovecraft, the episode starts off with an artist named William Thurber who is sketching the portrait of his muse. The narrative is set in the early 1900s, and the protagonist, William Thurber, is presented as one of the best art students at Miskatonic University. His talents have already been acknowledged, and he has already won the yearly student art prize the previous year. This year's contest is coming close, and the winner will get to exhibit his works at a renowned art exhibition, which can be career-changing for all students. Things are all rosy and comfortable for William, until a new student named Richard Pickman is introduced to the class. The teacher asks them all to sketch an old man according to their vision, and William completes the task swiftly and effortlessly. However, his attention is soon focused on what Pickman is drawing, and he is shocked to see that the new artist has some rather sadistic and dark perspectives in his work. While the model was an old man holding a spear, Pickman was drawing a rotten human figure with 4 hands. The being said, William does not fail to notice the talent in his brush strokes, and he realizes that despite his quirks, Pickman is an extremely gifted artist. After the class comes to an end, William is intrigued by this mysterious new artist, and he tries to learn more about his works. The other artists seem to think of Pickman as a freak who creates the most disturbing and gory form of art, but William is curious to know the man behind the canvas. He finds out that Pickman has a rather strange habit of sitting in graveyards for long hours and drawing some of the most morbid observations there. Anything from mutilated animal corpses to rotting remains of creatures becomes his model, and he puts it vividly onto his canvas. However, the judges at the contest do not treat Pickman's work in a positive light. As the artist is packing up his sketches, William walks in with a few comforting words. Pickman doesn't seem too bothered by the rejection from the judges, and he offers to take William back to his apartment to view some of his creations. He believes that William could be a nice judge of his creativity, and the former agrees to the proposal because he has been curious for far too long. To visit Pickman's apartment, however, changes his life forever. The moment he enters the room, he could sense something extremely dark and disturbing. It is as if all the morbid images are alive in some form and are observing him. While showing him around, Pickman introduces William to one of his paintings, where he sketched his great-great-grandmother, Lavinia. He tells the harrowing backstory of this woman who was apparently involved in witchcraft and worshipping the dark forces. She was so far down the road that she did not hesitate to sacrifice her own husband for one of the rituals. One of the paintings of Pickman portrays her feasting upon her husband with other members of her coven, and it is really one of the most disturbing paintings that you will ever see. Even William is taken aback by the grotesque brushstrokes, and the vivid image gets stuck in his mind. He is so rattled that he immediately runs out of the apartment. His series of disturbing sights begins shortly when he witnesses witnesses a strange bald man making love to a woman whose body seems to be rotting away. After this nightmarish experience, William goes back home and oversleeps his appointment to meet his girlfriend Rebecca's father. However, his experience at the party is no better than last night. He keeps seeing a demonic form of Latvinia in the surroundings, and it makes the others view him as someone on drugs. He is shocked further when he realizes that the man in the carriage last night looks exactly like his girlfriend's father. She is embarrassed by his behavior, and they have a fallout, with William walking away cluelessly. Just as you wonder what will become of William following all these strange visions, the story takes a time jump of almost 17 years. The year is 1926, and William has grown up to become a celebrated artist. It seems like he has tasted both fame and fortune, and now he lives with his wife Rebecca and their son James. From the looks of it, William has managed to put the trauma of his past behind him, but time has a strange way of catching up. He now works for a famous art gallery, and some of his former classmates, including his friend Joe, now work with him. All of a sudden, he gets a mysterious painting delivered to his house, and uncovering it makes him realize that it is one of Pickman's works. William is visibly shaken, and that night he has a terrible nightmare where he watches the group of sorcerers from Pickman's painting partying and dining on rotting food and bugs. He later inquires about the whereabouts of the painting delivered to him, and his wife confirms his worst fears. It was indeed delivered by Richard Pickman. Unfortunately for William, even his son James gets a chance to look at the painting, and surely the disturbing things in there leave an impression on his young mind. Just as William makes his assistant send the painting back to where it came from, he is in for another nasty surprise. His co-worker and friend Joe informs the members of the art gallery that a guest is about to join them, and it is none other than Pickman himself. Many of his paintings are put up on display, and the members get to scan through these works. William wants to stay miles away from the creepy character, but it seems like fate simply has a way to make them meet again. That night, while William tries to look for Pickman at the cemetery, he observes a strange creature rustling in the bushes nearby. He gets back home only to discover that Pickman has joined them as a guest for the evening. He interacts with William's son before joining them for dinner, where Rebecca simply doesn't realize why William is being somewhat rude to him. She shares her own past experiences of holding seances, and she seems intrigued by Pickman's morbid views, just like her husband was all those years ago. While leaving, Pickman invites William once again to check out his works, but this time William knows better and refuses straight away. However, his troubles are far from over, and he wakes up from yet another nightmare to discover that his son is screaming in his room. He rushes in to find that James is sobbing uncontrollably, and he even spots some dark, smoky spirit-like entity leaving the room. By now, William has had it, and he rushes out with his gun to deal with Pickman. He confronts the sick artist and warns him to stay away from his family. Pickman, however, is hardly bothered by the rude behavior. All he wants is for William to check out and appreciate his work, and if he agrees, Pickman is willing to drop out of the exhibition at the art gallery and even stay away from his family. It is too good a deal for William to refuse, and he walks into Pickman's home one more time. The ladder leads him down the stairs and a strange passageways into a basement. Here, some more sick paintings litter the room, and William can hear some strange chants. He tries to pour gasoline on all the paintings in order to burn them, and he even shoots Pickman when he tries to stop him. Just as William seems to regret accidentally killing Pickman, a strange, monstrous creature emerges from a well in the room and drags Pickman's body inside. William somehow manages to run away from this hellish place, and he hopes now that he could finally be in peace. A visit to the art gallery quickly makes him realize that his woes are far from over. He discovers that Pickman's paintings are hung up all over the walls, and these are the same ones that he burned. To his horror, William finds out that his friend Joe has been corrupted by some evil force after viewing these paintings for too long. Joe has mutilated himself by gouging out his own eyes, and Richard leaves in a hurry, advising his assistant to burn all the paintings immediately. Unfortunately, he had taken his family along with him, and another shock awaits him back at home. After witnessing Joe's condition, William had ordered Rebecca to take James home. Now, when he gets back, he realizes that even his wife hasn't been spared from the impact of the evil force. She has mutilated herself, and to add to his nightmare, he discovers that she has put their son inside the oven. He walks over to the oven, hoping for the best, but as he opens the door, he finds his son's severed head cooking inside. The episode ends on this haunting note with possibly one of the most terrifying climaxes in the entire series. All about Lavinia and the morbid creature that emerges from the well. It becomes pretty clear after watching the episode that Lavinia was not a figment of Pickman's imagination. Even his dying words were testimony to the fact that all he ever painted were entities that existed in reality. However, Lavinia seemed to have been dormant for a significant amount of time. From the moment that William first saw her painting in Pickman's apartment, something seems to have enabled her to manifest herself outside the world of the canvas. It has been established that William always tries to find the beautiful side of everything in his paintings, while Pickman did the exact opposite. Something inside William must have been corrupted from the moment he set eyes on that picture. However, it is never explained why the demonic witch never really harms him. Maybe Lavinia was simply playing a twisted game on him, destroying everything that he ever held dear. The return of Pickman after all those years seems like a way for evil to find its way back to haunt William, and the final corruption of his wife and son indicates that she has successfully ruined his life. It was as if her rituals are still continuing, and this time William falls prey even without being a victim himself. But why was William chosen of all people? Well, the narrative does not offer a clear answer for that, but it can be assumed that the evil forces rejoice, corrupting those who tried to be altruistic and positive. Pickman took a liking to William because their perspectives differed so much, and it is the reason why he was willing to give up everything just for a chance to make William observe his works. Lavinia seems to be extremely powerful and someone who has mastered the dark forces. Clearly, she is long dead, but a demonic version of her continues to exist. She is capable of possessing people and making them do unspeakable things. The mutilations that William's friend Joe inflicted on himself, or the things that Rebecca did to herself and their son, are just how powerful Lavinia's manipulations can be. Is all this a way to come back into the world of the living? Well, the director leaves it up to your interpretation, but surely there is nothing to stop her evil from spreading further. Now let us turn our attention to the monster inside of the room, the demonic creature that emerges from the well and drags the lifeless body of Pickman inside. We see this creature in several glimpses throughout the narrative, and nothing is given to us as a backstory. All we can infer is that it is a Lovecraftian monster, and there is a scene where a possessed Rebecca utters the words Yog-Sothoth in her chants. If the creature is indeed Yog-Sothoth, then the sacrifices by Lavinia were probably to appease this demonic being. It looked absolutely ghastly, with its grotesque, bulbous upper body. The creature had giant shiny eyes and an extensive set of sharp teeth lining its mouth. The two arms of the creature reached up from the ground, and the creature was bipedal in its stance. The demonic speeches and sounds must be exactly how Lovecraft had imagined it, and it is a truly haunting presence on screen. Marvelous verdict, Lovecraftian horror at its finest. As fans of the horror legend, we are always curious when one of his stories is adapted. Keith Thomas gets full marks on the direction because the episode keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Of course, certain elements of the story have been manipulated to suit modern times, but the overall theme remains the same. It brings to the fore an age-old question: are the most twisted and demented pieces of imagination inspired by some form of evil world? Well, you surely get some of these answers in the crisp and fast-paced storytelling, and the period piece does justice to the efforts of the cast involved. Brilliant acting and screenplay ensure that there isn't a single dull moment, and for us, this has to be one of the best episodes in the show, if not the best. So let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are and why William was chosen by the evil forces. Also, tell us what you think about the episode and the overall series. You can check out some of the other videos on Cabinet of Curiosities to get a taste of what a good horror anthology feels like. And remember, if you liked our content, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And in the meantime, be safe, and we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.